Hi, I'm going to immediately share my screen to my class view of WebAssign so you can see what I'm talking about. I want to take a few minutes and briefly show you how to set up automatic homework extensions for WebAssign. The normal setup for most of our classes is that students can request an extension or extra time for the homework. And we are, as a teacher, sent the message, and then we have to go in, and if we choose to give an extension, we have to go in and manually extend the due date and let the student know. A few years ago, I became aware of a feature in WebAssign that allowed me to set up the class such that I do not have to approve manually every homework extension, but I can set it up so that it happens automatically. So basically, if a student wants extra time for their homework, they can go ahead and just hit the extension button and make the request, and they are automatically given extra time. Now, part of this will come down to the philosophy of every teacher, but I will quickly share with you my thinking, and then you can obviously choose to decide to do what you want. The goal for homework, of course, is to get the students to solve the problems, to see if they understand the concepts, and to give them practice of applying those concepts to solving problems. Good students will sometimes not be able to solve all the problems because they cannot understand it, or maybe they cannot figure out the right answer. When those students come to class, I will oftentimes go over those problems, and then the students will understand it. And what I would like for them to do is then to go back after class and go ahead and work the problems out themselves to reinforce what they're learning. Of course, if the due date is already passed, then students don't have the opportunity to go back and rework those problems or even work them out for the first time. So I've decided to allow students to have the ability to always work on their homework after the due date. Now, there is a penalty attached so that they don't get full credit for the work they have done after the due date. Now, there, of course, might be students who, through neglect, have not done the homework because they did not put forth the effort to get it done. I don't think giving the extension the way I do is going to really impact that, because if they're a bit lazy to do the homework before class, my guess is they probably won't do it after class. So I think giving this extension really helps out the students who are trying to understand the material and giving them the ability to always work out the problems. So let me show you in WebAssign how to set it up and some of the parameters that are available, and I will even tell you how I've set mine up, and then you can obviously choose to use this as you please. So here's the class view in WebAssign. I'm going to go up. You first click on the top, the communication, and then you go on the left-hand side under extensions. You choose unanswered, and then you go and click on settings over here on the right. Now a new window opens up, so I need to stop this share, and I need to share this new window. All right, so hopefully now you can see the new window that's popped up. This window is labeled extension settings. Here are the parameters you can set and how I've set up my class. First, at the top, excuse me, at the top, you have to enable extensions. And under extension policy, you see here you have manual or automatic. So I've chosen automatic. This first parameter is length of extension. That tells you once the student requests the automatic extension, This tells you how long they will have to work on that assignment. So I've set it up for 1 day. So basically, once a student requests an extension, they're going to have 1 day or 24 hours to work on that homework. This next item, requests per assignment, is always 1. I don't see any reason why to change that. Here's an important one: penalty for using extension. I do want there to be a penalty for students who work on the problems after the due date. So you can see here, I have chosen 20%, which means any problems they solve after the due date and solve correctly, they will receive 80% of the credit. So they don't get full credit. So there is a bit of a penalty if they work on the problem after the due date. So therefore, hopefully the system is not abused where students will just ignore the due date and always work on the problems after they're due. This next one's very important: extension window closes. This says how long after the due date will they have the opportunity to go ahead and request this automatic extension. And I've set it up for 7 days. So that basically means the homework was due on Tuesday. If they want to continue to work on the homework after the due date is passed, they can request the extension, but they will only have 7 days to request the extension. In other words, they can't go back and work on homework from 4 weeks ago, or they can't go back and work on assignments that they ignored at the beginning of the semester. They only have a 1-week window to request the extension. And then once they do, in fact, request the extension, they will have then 24 hours to actually do the work. So I'm really gearing this toward people who want to go ahead and complete and finish the homework that they haven't completed because they didn't understand it, weren't sure how to work the problem. Maybe they didn't get around to it, but my ultimate goal is I want them to do the homework. So once again, there is a slight penalty attached. Anything they do after the due date, they will receive 80% of the credit. And when you go and look at your score view, when you look at the score for the assignments, you will see an asterisk next to the scores where the student did in fact use an extension. So that's pretty much it. So once again, to summarize, the length of extension is once they request the extension, how long will they have to work on the assignment? And once again, this is an automatic extension. It does not require me to approve anything. I don't have to do any setup. So the nice thing about this is all that busy work and having to decide about students, should I give them an extension, how long, all those kinds of issues are gone. This is automatic. It does not involve me at all. There is a penalty. They can only get 80% of the credit for the work they do after the due date. They have 7 days in which to request the extension. And once again, once they request the extension, they have 24 hours to complete the work. So I found this to be a very nice and helpful tool. And to me, I think it's a productive thing. Of course, like anything, it can always be abused, but I haven't found that to be the case too much. So hopefully you will find this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me and I might be able to help.